Hi, everyone. Hi, and it's Bim once again from the BlueSitron podcast. It's lovely to be here and to have you all watching and listening to us once again. Today, I'm being joined by two amazing women, Julie and Yasmin, and both of them have put this platform that is called or named Risky Conversations. So I met these two lovely ladies from a female group called Lean in Equity and Sustainability. It's an amazing group, and feel free to ask any one of us in the comment section. Feel free to ask us questions about leaning. We'll be happy to tell you more about it. However, today we want to talk about risky conversations. So before we do that, I'd like Julie and Yasmin to introduce themselves. Yasmin, would you like to start by introducing yourself and letting us know who you are?
Sure. Thanks, Bim, for the opportunity to be on BlueSitron. It's been great meeting you again, as we said, through Lean in Equity and Sustainability, which is the group that we're all part of. Myself, I am a project manager and risk management specialist. I've been working in and around the energy sector for about 12 years now. But more recently, in the last year, I've become more of a change management and project delivery specialist, so that's my new job. And I had the fortune of connecting with Julie through the Lean In Circle about 2 years ago, and that's how we came up with the Forum for Risky Conversations.
Fantastic.
I'll let Julie introduce herself and the forum.
Over to you, Julie.
Yes, thanks, Yasmin. We've known each other for a couple of years. I'm a reputation coach, and I mainly work with professional women and emerging leaders, actually, to help them achieve fulfilling careers. My background is in the oil and energy industry for about 15 years. I've worked all over the world, and I'm very familiar with risk, both in career and in business. So that was a natural kind of connection point for Yasmin and I when we first met at a Lean In event, networking event actually. And we started to talk about risk and found this common interest. It both sort of lit both of us up, and we thought we had to do something with this. And so the Risky Conversations Forum was born, which talks about topics that perhaps you wouldn't necessarily talk about around, during your coffee break or with your colleagues. We tend to look at risk from lots of different aspects, from the gender equity aspect, from environment, career, and we support the 4 pillars of lean in equity and sustainability. So we're very grateful to them that they host our Risky Conversations Forum for us. And we try to do this on a monthly basis, though we do, for our own safety, if you like, we do take a break during the summer.
Excellent. Thank you both. So, I think, Julie, you've touched upon just what it is without delving into what risky conversation is. So I'll put it back to you. What is risky conversation?
So we like to think of Risky Conversations as a common meeting place. It is designed to engage the audience. We want people to participate, but most of all, it is a safe space to have discussions. A lot of the times we found that people kind of talking at each other, not with each other. So that's what we try to encourage with Risky Conversations.
Okay. So what types of topics are we talking about that typically come up, for example, Julie?
That's an interesting question, actually. we try to cover a multitude, and we try to follow trends of what people are talking about. We kicked off the first session, I think, that we had was around COP and environment. Yep. This was a cause close to both our hearts, but mostly Yasmin drove this one. I learned so much, which is another benefit of working together. If one of us proposes an idea, we discuss it. We plan these conversations quite some time ahead, and we do the research. So I ended up learning a lot about COP, and Yasmin was the leading expert on this, so she led the discussions. And we talked about, remind me of the topic, Yasmin. It was
I think it was unintended consequences of some of the outcomes. So it kind of, I think we were unified and feeling all a little bit disappointed as to what came out of the meeting. So it was kind of a place to discuss what our feelings were, and then a few other bits and pieces came out of that as well, wasn't it? We always do our takeaways, which are the points that we learn and we sum up as part of the discussions. But that was about 2 years ago now, wasn't it?
Yeah, but I think
another one since.
You hit on a very good point there when you said discussion. So the forum is we propose the topic, and then we open it up to other participants to discuss. So it's almost like throwing a pebble in the water and just watching the ripples and encouraging others to speak. We don't record because we protect that safe space.
That's right. Okay. At least to be able to give the participants the, as you say, safe space, so they're able to lay bare, their minds and, whatever it is that they want to talk about, that they're feeling deep inside, and they don't feel, I don't want to use the term not feeling confident enough, but it's more, they don't want to share publicly, but they feel confident enough to want to let someone hear it, within a safe environment, as you say. Yeah. I have a question for both of you. Risky conversations. Have you trademarked your name? Have you trademarked it before? It's taken by someone else. You have to. If you haven't done that, do it.
I don't think we have yet, but it's definitely something we should do.
It's interesting because we have this session coming up on the 20th of April. We're going to be talking about male allyship and the importance of it. Okay. And we've gone out with some marketing information on LinkedIn. Oh, nice. And someone in the US contacted me and said, allyship isn't a risky conversation, and perhaps you should rename risky conversations. And we went back and forth a little bit.
Really?
And I explained that risky conversations is the umbrella for which we propose lots of different, sometimes risky topics. But the one on allyship, that one coming up, is we have a super guest, a male guest, who's going to be talking about the importance of male allies. And there are some risks associated with that you wouldn't naturally think of.
Absolutely.
And it's funny because that also ties back to a previous session that we've done that Julie led on, which was about brand and values and personal values matching up with business values. And people may not maybe make the intentional connection, but that's part and parcel of why we have these conversations. It's also to broaden people's, maybe we're not changing minds, but we're providing them with different opinions, which I think is also quite valuable.
I'm sure you're changing minds, maybe you don't want to voice it out, they don't tell you, but clearly, it's, as you say, again, it's a safe space. You're having discussions, amongst yourselves, and, there will be diverse views, and diverse views leads to mind changing, maybe may not necessarily lead to an immediate mindset changing, but it's a gradual process, and it gets there at some point. But yes, now that I know that this has been, you promoted this on LinkedIn, I'm very, very, maybe it's just me, but I'm very, very much about you trademarking that name, because
it's good advice.
From the US is definitely going to pick it up and trademark it, and you can't use it. And anytime you want to use it, they'll tell you to pay. Those people are fast.
Okay. Well, let's get on to that then. Absolutely.
Get on to that today.
We'll put that in the planning. Yasmin keeps it.
Absolutely.
So this is nice. Where do you see risky conversation going? Again, let me revert to what you say about having, a man coming in and talking about, male allyship. So definitely that means it's, at the moment, it's on the platform of Lean In, or with Lean In, equity and sustainability, right? Where do you see it going? Are you going to progress beyond Lean In? You'll always be part of Lean In. Let's just put it that way. Like, okay, this is where we see as a safe space, professional women, confident women, and also respectable and all of that. But there will come a point in time, maybe I'm overthinking things, but I'm just thinking there will be a point in time where it may become a thing on its own, much bigger, and I'm not saying you ladies are not therapists, don't get me wrong. Actually, Julie, maybe you are, Julie, because you're a coach, right? Yasmin, I don't know if you're a therapist. I don't know about that.
Sometimes I feel like Julie's my therapist. But...
Yes,
I'm not a therapist, but I've had a lot of therapy.
Okay, but being a coach, right? Being a reputation coach, right? It's not, it moves a little bit in that direction, if you know what I mean. So do you feel this is something that is going to be bigger? Because a lot of people within the workspace, work environment, in even just within any profession, in a professional life, professional setting, building a career, you would always come across times where you would want to discuss about things that you feel may be uncomfortable for some other people, but you feel it's important to discuss. I don't know if I'm making sense, but I hope I am. So is risky conversation going to become bigger, or do you want to keep it as it is, just for the comfort of those that would be coming in to bear their minds, for example?
Yasmin, you want to share some thoughts on that?
Well, I think regardless of the size that it becomes, we still want it to maintain that safe space. If we can do that with growing the audience, we're keen to do that. We're actually going to have an interesting test case because we're planning our first in-person event in September, so that's going to be interesting for us. And we have tried to branch out a little bit. So in the first year that we did risky conversations, Julie and I led all the sessions, but we were kind of keen this year. We took the decision to broaden it out and invite more guest speakers so we could kind of organically grow the conversation and see. We're very interested in, when we invite speakers, what their points of view are. And the beauty of risky conversations is that we keep it so flexible. As Julie said, we prepare in advance, but we also like to see where the conversation goes. That's the whole point of the forum and having an audience and getting it to be interactive. So I think as long as we maintain those, for me, that would be a plus. I don't, Julie, what do you?
No, I'm in complete agreement with you, because it's one of the key values is to keep it safe space. Certainly as a coach, every client I work with just appreciates being able to talk about things that they can't talk to anyone else about, and that safe space, non-judgmental spaces is so important, particularly as we grow and develop, and also as we manage successful careers in our lives. So this is very important to provide that. Yasmin and I agree on so many things, it's kind of scary. So we know that we're a good match to run this program. Although we do ask some outside questions just to test it now and again, the what ifs and so on. But I'm really looking forward to the in-person event that we're having in September. We're still trying to finalize a date. We've got a couple of themes that we're reviewing, but it will probably be in London. And a small-ish group, no more than 20, 25 maybe, that can have a valuable discussion. So that's all I can share for right now.
Thanks for sharing that. I'm actually very excited about this in-person event that you both mentioned. And something came to my mind in this modern times, present day of social media and, taking out phones and filming everything. I want to believe the in-person session, you guys would want to ensure that no one is taking photos of anything and no one is recording anything, in their bags or something, because that defeats the purpose of safe space. And that's what you're all about. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed and hoping for the best. My mind wanders a lot because I see a lot of things like this happening. You go to a theater, you go for a show, they tell you don't bring out your cameras. And then in the middle of the performance, you see someone flipping out their cameras and doing exactly what you've been told not to do. So I'm hoping and wishing you both all the best for the in-person session. I think it's going to be really successful. And I mean, already it is, because people feel confident to come and share, work experiences, maybe, and not just work experiences, just, industry conversation, what we think should be this, what we think should be that, things that some people may classify as woke, within the industry, or even as a professional in general. So it's quite interesting. So is it, knowing fully well that Lean In is, we're mostly women and we welcome men as well. This is going to be the first male person you're going to have on Risky Conversation, correct? To come and speak, that is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely the first speaker. We do have quite a few. We've got a sprinkling of male that attend a couple of the other sessions. I think the one on DE&I, we had a few people come into the room as well, and they were kind of asking similar questions about how to be a better ally and how to improve DE&I kind of performance and the importance of DE&I in kind of strategy as well. So yeah.
So something also comes to my mind now. So, obviously we us three are in the UK, and are these for the online session, which is where where you use the Lean In, anyone from anywhere can join, and maybe the conversation and experience is also centered around UK. So especially with the old DE and I, maybe not just UK, maybe UK, US, I don't know. So if we start looking at other areas, other regions, like maybe Latin America, Africa, Middle East, Southeast Asia, is there anything like DE, and I been, because you already had that conversation, did anything come up like that during that sort of conversation, and are your topics global?
Yeah, it's our intention is to be global, and I think by extending our outreach, now that we're having guests come and speak, extending our outreach to different countries, we will increase the diversity of the forum entirely. To have speakers from the countries and areas that you've mentioned will certainly bring a lot more diversity to it. Will educate us for sure, because we all, I think, from time to time can get locked in a little bubble and think that this is how the rest of the world is, but it will broaden the offering of what we're doing, and I believe that is our intention, because we want to promote curiosity too. That's one of the values of Risky Conversation. Sorry, Yasmin.
No, I was going to say, I do think absolutely we do want to broaden geographically the reach, but I think one of the things that's fortunate about working in our industry is that a lot of people will have worked in Latin America or Asia, and they bring that experience into the group, which I think is also quite valuable. So we've had people that maybe are based in the UK or have been based in Europe, but they've worked and traveled and been in a lot of other countries. So we also have that kind of diversity of thought as well.
Okay, that's really good. That's really good.
And we've had people join us from the US and Africa as well and participate in the program.
Even the Middle East, I think.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, that's good. Yeah, because I mean, it also helps, you know, with broadening what's, you know, risky conversation is all about, not just in terms of, you know, having the people participate, but also broadening the topic likewise. This sounds really good. I'm looking forward to being part of the next, you know, risky conversations. RC, that's what it's called.
Yeah.
RCF, Risky Conversation Forum. Of course.
Yeah.
Hey, the only thing popping in my head now is trademark. So
Us
I
too
can
now.
see RCF.
Yeah.
I can even picture the logo.
We need to talk to her, yes.
Yes, we absolutely do.
Good. No, I'm really pleased that we got to share at least a little bit about risky conversation, you know, types of topics that you cover, types of people that, you know, you have that attend, types of people that also participate as well. So this is really nice to know. And I mean, for whoever, you know, watches this and have more, you know, questions, you know, please just pop it in the comment section and we will be sharing it with Julie and Yasmin. They will definitely be, you know, be happy to answer your questions. And if you'd like to know more about risky conversations in terms of participating, you know, of course, it's a case of connecting and then taking it from there to see, you know, if you're going to benefit from it. You will benefit from it, but then you have to see if it's, you know, fit for you, fit for purpose, and so on and so forth. So yes, that's it from me, except if you have anything else you want to add, both of you.
Was going to say, as Julie mentioned earlier, we try to pick up different themes and we're open to people suggesting them as well. So if they wanted to reach out and join the conversation that way, that'd be great.
Great. Julie?
That's a great idea, yeah. And our only caveat is that it has an element of risk in it.
Love it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Love it. Well, thank you. Thank you, both of you. Thank you, Julie. Thank you, Yasmin. I appreciate both of you. And thanks to our listeners and watchers. Thanks for joining us again today at BlueSitron. Please feel free to follow and share this particular video. I mean, share all videos. And as I say, if you have questions or suggestions even for Julie and Yasmin about the risky conversation, by all means pop it in the chat room, and you know they will be happy to discuss with you. They'll be happy to respond to your questions. They'll be happy to even get suggestions from you in terms of, you know, topics. You know, could be anything, could be about the energy transition, could be about, you know, diversity, could be about just possibly even moving to another country, trying to understand the culture and how you can, you know, inculcate yourself into the system and be able to be an addition. Could also be about being maybe the only woman in a room of, you know, maybe 20 men, just because of the industry you happen to find yourself. Could be IT, could be energy, could be, I don't know, medical even. I mean, so yeah. And you could be the only man in a space where there's so many women. Could be HR, could be marketing, could be fashion. So there's always something to talk about that has an element, as Julie says, element of risk. As long as you're ready to understand that there's an element of risk. But most importantly, as Yasmin also stressed, is the safety aspect. You are going to be speaking within a safe environment. So thank you once again for joining the BlueSitron. And we hope to see you next time. Thank you, Julie and Yasmin. Thank you so much. And yes, cheers to risky conversations.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.